Good morning. Sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is Creighton Wuneberger, 196678.
All right, Mr. Wuneberger, you're here this morning seeking a commutation of your sentence. Let me just read some identifying information into the record. You were sentenced in Jefferson Parish in March of 2002 as a habitual offender to a life sentence for armed robbery. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and joining us this morning here in support, and we'll hear from him. We have Joseph Landix, who will be speaking on your behalf, and then we have Bahia Wright. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, who is also here in support. Here in opposition, representing the DA's office in Jefferson Parish, is Mr. Randall Meyer, and we'll hear from him at the appropriate time. Mr. Wuneberger, your case this morning has been assigned to Mr. Roche. Would you answer any questions you may have?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Wuneberger. How are you?
A little nervous.
Just sit back, relax, and we're going to have a conversation, okay?
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman, fellow board members, before us this morning, we have Creighton L. Wuneberger, DOC number 196678. Mr. Wuneberger is here this morning seeking a recommendation and commutation of sentence for a multi-bill conviction for armed robbery in March 2002. He went to trial and he was found guilty of armed robbery and originally sentenced to 50 years at hard labor at DOC. The DA's office a month later filed a multi-bill indictment, and he was found guilty as an habitual offender and was resentenced to life and hard labor at DOC without benefit of probation, parole, or suspension and sentence. On March 18th, 2002. Mr. Wuneberger is currently 52 years old. He was 30 years of age at the time of the robbery. He's been incarcerated for the last 21 and a half years. The applicant is a fourth felony offender with 13 or 14 arrests, a history of violence, a poor supervision history with 2 revocations, and 1 period of supervision was terminated unsatisfactory. He currently has a warrant on his master record issued by the Angelina County Sheriff's Office in Lufkin, Texas. The sheriff of Angelina County said that the county will not extradite on that warrant. So basically, it's not an active warrant because they will not extradite. Mr. Wuneberger, tell the panel exactly what happened with the armed robbery of the Easy Serve convenience store in Marrero, Louisiana in May of 2001. Tell us exactly what happened.
I was at a friend's house. We was drinking and doing drugs. We went to a store to get some more beer and some gas. As we went in the store, we was getting what we needed. I went back outside. I moved the vehicle to the side of the building. I grabbed a razor knife type thing. I went back in the store. They had Mr. and Mrs. King behind the counter. I went behind the counter. I put the knife to Mrs. King's neck and told Mr. King to give me the money. He gave me the money. I left the stores, and went back to my friend's house.
According to the police report, when you went back out to the truck, the female that was with you came in, you walked to the cooler in the back, you had a conversation, and then you went behind the counter. Did you plan that robbery on the spur of the moment, or did you go to that store with the intent to rob Mr. King? And the only reason Mrs. King was there, she was visiting her husband at 4 o'clock in the morning and was a victim simply because she was wanting to see her husband. When did you decide that you were going to rob the store?
It was a spur of the moment thing when I was talking to my co-defendant. That's when I decided to do it. My co-defendant had no idea I was doing it. She was getting the beer out the cooler. I went back outside, moved the vehicle to the side, went back in and committed the robbery.
So tell me, was $100 worth spending 21 and a half years incarcerated for?
No, sir, it wasn't. Ain't no money worth spending 21 years.
Well, all you got was $100, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Opposition in this case comes from the Jefferson Parish DA's office, and Assistant District Attorney Randy Myers will make a presentation at the appropriate time. You also have opposition from the judge, the 24th JDC, law enforcement. You also have opposition from Ms. Alicia Kane, the female victim of your crime. Mr. Wuneberger has a low risk assessment, a low needs assessment. He has a minimal custody level. He has a good institutional record with positive remarks from the State Police Barracks staff. And he has been assigned to the State Police Barracks for only 2.5 years. Tell us what you currently do at the State Police Barracks.
My job is just tech maintenance, a carpenter shop.
Do you go off site or do you do all your work at the facility?
Most of our work's at the facility. Every now and then they ask us to go to headquarters and do work.
What trustee status, what level trustee status are you?
A,
Okay, and how long have you been an A trustee?
about 11 years.
Okay, and before the State Police Barracks, you were at what facility?
Angola,
So you were a Class A trustee for 9 years at Louisiana State Penitentiary, is that correct?
yes, sir.
Any vocational skills or training while incarcerated or before you were incarcerated?
All my training skills came while I was incarcerated.
And what are those skills?
Carpentry, welding, body and fender, clerk.
So let's go over some of the programs that you completed. Let's start with Cage to Rage, anger management. What other program have you completed during your incarceration?
I went through sober group, Malachi Dash, Dale Carnegie public speaking, and cultivation training.
Thinking for a Change,
Thank you for a change.
Giving in Balance. Right?
Yes, sir.
$100 pre-release,
Yes, sir.
victim awareness,
No, sir. I was on a list to go through victim awareness, and then I got transferred here to the barracks before I could go through it.
okay. Tell me about your educational achievements, starting with your GED.
I don't have my GED. I got 10th grade education.
Okay, somewhere in the program, in my information saying that you had a GED.
No, sir. I was on a list to take my GED. But at Camp F, they only allow so many at a time to go through the GED school. And I was on the backlog list for it, and I came here to the barracks.
Now, I'm almost sure that Barracks has a GED program. Have you requested the GED program?
They don't have it here. You have to do it online, through mail.
And when are you gonna enroll?
I have the application for Christian Academy. It costs us $150 to go through it. I have wrote to people. I'm waiting for them to send me back the application.
Okay, because it's of utmost importance that you enroll and complete your GED prior to your release.
Yes, sir. I will have it.
Tell us about your work with Prison Enterprise.
I work with CDC Warehouse, which is Canteen Distribution Center in Angola. I worked there for 6 years as a clerk and a stock clerk.
Tell me about your paralegal study diploma.
Sir?
A paralegal,
No, sir. I don't have no paralegal study.
okay, so evidently some information was in your packet that didn't belong there, because in the packet that I received, you had a paralegal study diploma, but you don't, right?
Sir, no, sir.
Okay. Were you a member of Toastmasters?
No, sir.
So evidently some information in that packet was confused with another packet. Okay. So let's talk about drugs and alcohol addiction. Have you ever been used illegal drugs?
Yes, sir.
And at what age did you start using these illegal drugs?
17.
And what did you start with?
Heroin and cocaine.
So you started with the strong stuff.
Yes, sir.
And how long did you use heroin and cocaine?
All the way up until my incarceration.
So you were incarcerated at the age of 30 years old, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
You use hard drugs, heroin and cocaine for 13 years.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been through a substance abuse program?
Here at Angola, I went through sober group and AA, which outside group from AA started coming to Camp F approximately 6 or 7 years ago. And I got involved in that until I came to the police barracks.
Okay, but you have not received any formal substance abuse treatment. A program where you go in like Steve Hall, Lou Walters, Don Francois. You haven't gone. Did you receive any substance abuse treatment before you were incarcerated?
No, sir.
In the 13 years you used drugs, you never tried to treat your addiction.
No, sir.
When's the last time you used illegal drugs?
20 years ago. When I first went to Angola, I smoked marijuana. I failed the piss test and they locked me up. And I have not touched drugs since.
And what is your sobriety plan? How do you how do you stay away from drugs?
I have, if I am released, I have a group in Baton Rouge that will accept me. I have someone that is speaking for me today with AA that is going to help me through my drug addiction.
Disciplinary conduct. You have 4 disciplinary write-ups and you have 4 disciplinary write-ups and almost 22 years of incarceration. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The last one was in August of 2014. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was a number 28, an aggravated work offense. Tell us what happened.
I worked at the horse lot, which we brought horses to different camps for the field. I had a cast on my hand for 3 months. The day after they took the cast off, my supervisor wanted me to go get a horse from my camp. I told him I could not ride the horse because I just had the cast taken off my hand. And he wrote me up for aggravated work offense.
Okay. Now let's talk about your transition plan. What is your initial transition plan? What do you plan to do if and when you release?
I have been accepted to the parole project for a long term. All my family has passed on, and I will stay there until I can get on my feet. And I have a job at Billard's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Okay, tell me what happened to your transition plan with Crystal Calvin in Harvey, Louisiana.
That is my daughter. She's not on the right track, and I made it my own decision not to go there.
Okay. And tell us how you discovered you had a daughter.
Her mom wrote me a letter in 2011 saying that I had a daughter, which I never knew I had. And that's how I found out.
Have you met your daughter
Yes, sir.
and you decided that transition plan won't work for you, right?
She used to come see me, but she's not on the right track.
I understand. You have letters of support from DOC administrators and staff, family and friends, and you have 1 letter of opposition from the female victim, Mrs. King, who is adamantly opposed to your clemency. Captain Washington, would you like to make any comments? Do you have any concerns, remarks, or observations at this time?
Yes, sir. In the short time that I've known Berger, a couple of years, he's been nothing but supportive to us here at the State Police Barracks. He does work without being asked. Any task we have for him to do, he gladly completes. In fact, he recently volunteered for several projects that we had going on and received some very good remarks from the people whose projects they were. I don't know who he was 20 years ago when all of this was taking place. All I know is the man sitting next to me, and I would be happy to call him my friend.
Thank you, Captain Washington.
You're welcome.
Chairman, due to some information that I had that was incorrect, I have not made a decision yet. I will at the conclusion of this interview.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. We'd like to hear from the support, and that would be Mr. Joseph Landix, please.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Landix. I have known Mr. Wuneberger for at least 17 years and 8 months. I've worked with him at the CDC Warehouse as a previously incarcerated offender. Mr. Berger was the heart and soul of CDC Warehouse. He kept everybody in line. He made sure everybody followed the rules and regulations. What I didn't hear added in his record is during the height of COVID, the national pandemic, Mr. Berger was an active participant in a 24-hour stickout. In fact, he was the first offender selected from CDC. They sought his opinion about the rest of us, and a lot of us were selected. In fact, it was 4 of us. I've watched Mr. Berger transition. I watched him not involved in narcotics when it was available to him. I've watched his rehabilitation. I can attest to his rehabilitation. He's a great person, and yes, he made mistakes in his life. However, he's on the right path. In fact, after we were admitted back to Camp F, Mr. Berger was allowed to transition to the Louisiana State Police Barracks. Staff at the Louisiana Penitentiary can attest to his willingness to help anyone and everyone. He is not a violent person anymore. He is not a person of egotistical behavior. That said, I hereby speak on behalf of Mr. Berger, and I ask that each member of this panel take into consideration his rehabilitative efforts and make the decision based upon the man he has become and has yet to become. Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Mr. Landick. We'll hear from the DA's office now, Mr. Meyer.
Good morning, Randy Meyer, Assistant DA Jefferson Parish, and we're opposed due to the nature of the offense, insufficient time served as well. If you remove the habitual offender increase in his sentence, he was sentenced to 50 years initially without benefit of parole, and he has not served half of that for this offense. And there's strong victim opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Wuneberger, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
I can't change what I did. But what I learned is I can change myself. And I did that through the programs that I took. The AA, the anger management, thinking for a change. And I'm truly sorry for my actions.
Yes,
Thank
sir. Thank you. All right, I believe you're prepared to vote. Mr. Roche will be voting first.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to call for executive session.
We have a motion for executive session, second by Mrs. Jackson. Can you roll call, please? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes. So, Mr. Wuneberger will be in executive session for a few moments to discuss confidential matters. Stand by. We'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are back in regular session and we are prepared to vote. Mr. Roche will be voting first.
Mr. Wuneberger, you've only been incarcerated for 21 and a half years, but you've been a Class A trustee for the last 11 years, and you have not lost that rating to move from Louisiana State Penitentiary to police barracks. Captain Washington has only known you for 2.5 years, and he has outstanding remarks. He even says he considers you a friend and someone that he would not be hesitant to associate with. You have good programs. I thank you for a change, anger management, 100 hours free release. And I would recommend the governor that we commute your sentence back to the original 50-year sentence that you received when you were found guilty of armed robbery. That is my vote.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Marabella,
My vote would be likewise the same for the same reasons.
Mr. Freeman,
My vote is likewise. Your interview changed my mind. But I would suggest when you get out that you immediately enroll in AA and NA and get a sponsor.
Mrs. Jackson?
My vote is the same for the same reason.
And Mr. Berger, I do concur with my colleagues. My vote today would be to make a recommendation as soon as we can.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.